the sky is big. And I think we need to and I think music has evolved beyond the times where we have just black and white, where we have just secular and faith-based. I think we're at an evolution, a point of evolution in our music industry, even as Nigerians, where we understand now that in a way everybody is doing fusion. Right, you would almost pick, if you pick even a typical Afrobeat song now, you see elements of other genres in it, right? Because at the end of the day, there are only 12 keys, 7 white notes and 5 black notes, right? There's nothing you can write, especially in Western music, that would be out of this thing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that first, the fact that you even understand that, I would say that my background being that my appetite around music was very vast, right? I grew up listening to like everything listenable, right? And now that I look back in retrospective glance, I would say that it was kind of destiny already preparing me for the aspect, the niche that I am focused on. So I can't take complete credit for that, right? So a huge part of my humanity drives my music, and for that humanity, I can't say I did it. I would say life put me in that path. It only got to a point where I understood that, okay, this is not just a passion anymore. It feels like I actually have some tools here and I can build something. And then the other part of it will be that I began to see needs in the society that I could address. Things like body image distortion, body positivity, things like, for instance, one of my songs titled Ilson Samunta, it's in Romanian. The first verse talks about children, child abuse. The second verse talks about children with autism. So there's a lot of things that there's a lot to be addressed with music. So first it was divinity. I didn't, that set my humanity in that part. The second thing was the willingness to yield when I saw that I had tools on the table. And the last bit was that I actually saw a need that I could feel. And it looks like I might not have a huge fan base yet, but it feels like I'm
you're growing, and I like
people.
Yeah, I like that. So let's talk a bit before I go straight into Queens and the trap, the trap people. Let's quickly address, or not address now, but I want you to give me, just full details about what exactly went down when you dropped in the project you dropped in December 1st,
Christmas
2024.
Yes.
So just tell me a bit about it.
So Leon's
when influenced it?
Yes, Leon's Christmas Journal. See, we are in a part of the world where, thank God, things are changing now. Vulnerability around the masculine energy, around men, is not something that we celebrate that much, right? Yes, we say that we need men to open up, we need men to cry, we need people to be honest, but the truth of the matter is when we do it, you people judge us.
Right. True. That's the irony of it, actually.
To say, but I wish my husband would just tell me how he feels, but then the next time he tells you how he feels.
Why are you behaving like a baby?
If you had even said that, it's easier to manage, because if you say why are you behaving like a baby, the guy will have a response for you, right? But you won't say, we just notice that the energy has changed. And then it's like, what happened? You say nothing. Okay. So just because I cried yesterday, now it's nothing. So, so I think that we need to, as a society, we need to address issues like this. You see, the boy child goes through a lot.
Right.
And it's a two-sided sword. It's a two-edged sword. If you are saying that the male gender is in somewhat way superior to the female gender, and you're giving them the perks of that, the downside to that is that you also do not allow them the opportunity to be human.
Sure.
If you're saying I'm better than a woman, that means you've placed me on a pedestal. Now, if it gets to a day where it feels like, I'm struggling, I have to keep up that image and say, I'm better. And that's why, if you check, there are so many grandmas, no grandpas.
True.
Because grandpas are a bit too early.
Yeah.
Because when you carry all of this into your soul, there's something called cortisol. It's the stress hormone. It kills.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Over time, and I don't want to go into too much geeky stuff, but you get the idea. So Leon's Christmas Journal basically is a body of work, an anthology of musings and melodies, I call it, right, that demonstrates some degree of vulnerability around the subject of Christmas, around my thoughts and ideas around it, and creatively and artistically documented.
Beautiful. So let's go straight into Quincy. Tell me how you started, because, like I said earlier, in Nigeria here, the only thing that we understand, maybe Fuji because of the whole Yoruba whatever, but apart from that, Afrobeat to the world, right? Anybody, just yesterday I was I was opportune to, be the red carpet host for the Wizkid FCs and all of that, right? And you see that almost everybody that is singing, in short, I think 5-7 persons that actually, participated in the whole thing yesterday actually sing exactly like the way Wizkid sings. You get what I'm saying? So there's this, now my papa be that. It's not popsy that they call Wizkid now. Now my popsy be that, so we have to follow his footsteps. So there's nobody actually, thinking outside the box. You feel me? There's nobody thinking outside the box. It's either you sing or you rap. You feel me? Even if they rap itself, they still have an issue with it. They will look at Fouls and see what Fouls is doing. They'll be doing another thing. But out of it, let's talk a bit how you entered into the trap world, right? What even brought you into that?
Well, thank you. The music thing has been in me, right?
Okay.
I've been artistic in nature, right? And that's where the name came from. Explore, Quincy Explore. I've been able to switch through my artistic nature in different phases, right? So, and I grew up listening to different type of music, different genres of music, so I wasn't really concentrated on one particular genre, right? So my mind was exposed to a lot of genre, and it's contributed to me being on this side of my music life, right? This trap life. So while growing up, I listened to a lot of artists, international artists like Young Thug, Ghana, and I wasn't really into the music thing, right?
Okay.
Till some certain age, right? So that's why I said I'm artistic in nature. It comes up I already have it in me all this while. So I started my music journey 2021, right? And I decided to because my friends used to listen to me freestyle a lot. So my cousin, shout out to Donley, right? So he's always bro, go to the studio, do this,
something.
do something. So 2021 was the year that I decided to I need to give this a try. So I started doing the music. That's just me being on this side.
So what's the journey looking like for you right now? And have you been able to carve a niche? Because that's something I tell people. It's one thing to say, oh, you want to do something. Trust me, there are other persons doing that as well.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So I would want you to tell me things that you've planned out towards the future now that is going to be looking different or unique. I mean, we've talked about Tabula like this now is giving me that you're the guy in this place.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you feel me. So I would want you to tell me what the journey is looking like and what the future holds for you.
Being a Nigerian and doing this genre, it's you don't see where it's getting you to, likely, right? But you just, because of the love and the passion you have for it, you just need to keep pushing your craft, right? So I basically see the possibility in me becoming something or making something out of it, but the problem is the general public, depending on where I'm coming from as a Nigerian, what they accept. It's hard to say they accept this type of music. They widely accept Afro sounds, and which is the problem, or that is obviously the obstacle that I have. But like he said, you have your own community, so my encouragement comes from the community that
you've built
I've
over time.
built over time for myself, and it's the encouragement that keeps me going, and it's the promise that something could actually come out of this. So that is my energy. That's
well done.
Yeah, that's just my energy.
Because honestly speaking, I know for sure that that's like a different. I mean, it's something that Nigerians. The interesting part, the fact that we, all of us here, we listen to those people outside, but when we now see that our fellow person is doing the same thing, they say, "Okay, and that's like the problem, and that's why I like where you talk about the community, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's the fact that you're not able to build a community, I think you should still keep feeding them with what you're already doing and just improve on it. Of course, you get there. I mean. The sky's just your starting point. We're going on a short break, guys, to come back with On the Street of Social Media. Stay with us.
Hi guys, I'm Nne.
And I'm Chinne.
And together we are
Ndinne. And we are ex-housemates of Big Brother Naija Season 9.
No Lose Guard Edition. Big shout out to Gossip Gala.
Yes, because that's where you get all the premium teas from.
Not only premium teas, but also educative gist. Come on. And that's on Period.
Don't go nowhere.
Thank you so much for sticking around. It's on the street of social media. I know you guys are ready to hear gossip, but you're making a countdown. You guys ready, Abiel? Sit down. Where are your popcorns? Did you get drinks at all? That's the problem. These people, you don't come correct. This country, nothing ever gets right to you people. You don't worry. You don't have any of those things, but just sit down. Don't worry. The gossip alone. I mean, when you gossip, there's a lot of things to sip, you understand? So you guys should just sit down and wait. So on the street of social media, the first one we have here is no one should leave their matrimonial home in this economy because of cheating. So when I saw this one, I'm like, okay, me lolo, they calm down. It was the one and I saw from Tiwa Savage where she was also saying, these are the reasons why I will only leave a guy. But say cheating, it's not that bad. So you see now there's just some people saying, if the guy cheats, I'm going to leave. So people are saying, if you cheat, we go still dead there. I mean, it's no big deal. So let's quickly get this tweet on before we, watch the video from Tiwa Savage. Okay, I don't think anyone should be leaving their matrimonial home in this economy right now because of cheating, except you are financially capable of navigating things yourself outside. Your best bet is either to cheat back, or abstain completely from having sex with your randy spouse. Many people are living their best lives while married to their spouses. Now you one day miserable inside there because you are a good woman. You are in charge of your own happiness. Your happiness is entirely your responsibility. Can we also get the video from Tiwa Savage so that we just talk about this at once? Okay, so while we wait for the video, I think there's a bit of technical issues. Let's talk a bit about cheating. What do you guys think about cheating? I feel like this is something that almost every time, like once you just come married like this, the next thing somebody is saying is, you should say you want to do your man if they cheat. There's just always this back and forth about cheating. Oh, I mean polygamous in nature. Oh, that's an excuse. Just a bunch. There's just so many things around it, right? So let's talk a bit about it. Let's start with you, Toby Loba.
Myself, okay.
Yeah. What do you think about the story?
Well, so right there, I would say it's a mixed. The tweet is quite layered. There are a few things she said there that I agree with. There are a few things I don't quite agree with.
Tell me.
So the ones I agree with is the fact that, I mean, your happiness is your responsibility, and there are people who are in miserable marriages but are still happy.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I would call it joy, because happiness seems to lean more towards happenings around you, and that can fluctuate.
Yes.
But your joy is your responsibility to keep and to protect. So I agree with her in terms of that. Well, now down to the first part of it, which is don't leave a cheating spouse in this economy. Because you cannot navigate, except you can navigate yourself financially.
Yeah.
Now, the issue with that is the clause that she added there. So if she had just said, don't leave your cheating spouse, and then give something else, I might agree with her. Because cheating is a very complex thing. Why do people cheat? Now, I mean, that's a whole teaching on its own, but I'll come back to that. But the idea that she says in this economy, I do not agree with that, because then the possibility, I mean, the driving force of staying in the marriage changes. I know that marriage has always been economical, even from way back, right? People marry into class. It was a strategy to expand wealth. Kings will make sure that their daughters don't marry paupers, because you have to keep the wealth going. We get that. It's a societal construct. Nonetheless, at the bedrock of marriage has always been love. I might struggle with that as a scientist, because even with myself, I would say sometimes when you see, you're feeling that gish, my mind is just thinking biology, it's thinking neurochemistry, it's thinking these are neurochemicals, because most times what we actually call love is not real love. It's just neurochemicals. It's just your body responding to somebody else in a particular way. It's just... You know what I mean? Love in itself is a decision. It's not that gish-gish. Because when that gish-gish finishes, That's when the
happens
love will
next?
actually start.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, I would say that, but nonetheless, that decision has always been the bedrock of genuine marriages. Are there bad marriages? 100%. But in this case, I would say that that has always been the bedrock. But now, her leaning on saying that don't leave because of economical reasons, I do not agree
I
with
don't
that.
agree with that.
It
How
comes
about
across
you?
as shallow.
Right.
That's not her. Not her.
No, but
Yeah.
I get the message.
Yeah.
I get it. How about you, Ken?
Well, it's just similar, the same thing he said, right? Because like you can't give such advice, like saying if you're able to give such advice, that means you are saying indirectly or more directly or cheat back.
Right. That's what she
That
said. Yeah,
as well.
she said that.
That is just what you're saying. So I don't see that to be a criteria in having a good marriage or relationship. I don't see that saving the marriage, because when you advise that, that means you're getting to more destruction, right? So nothing works out,
Yeah.
and
Two wrongs don't make it right.
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I don't see that as a clue. I don't see that as a clue. I think it's out of the text to me.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Now, I want us to make this a bit personal. That's why it's Gossip Gala.
Ah,
Hallelujah,
God,
somebody.
Amen.
So, I want to ask this now. So, marriage-wise, relationship-wise, I mean, just in general now, is cheating a deal breaker for you? Now, yes or no? Now,
we just have to be human, right? You know, and
We just
what
have
you-
to be human.
yeah, we just
Explain
have to
that.
be, we just have to be human. When you say love, you know, and at that stage when you are so much in love, and when you start monitoring, oh, is she cheating or is he cheating on me? That it comes from insecurity. When the insecurity comes strong, and that is from the fact that you care so much about this person,
Right.
for you to be able to, I'm talking from my own perspective, for you to be able to say, oh, I have to be mindful if you're cheating on me, because on my own side I'm not, and I don't want to be caught off guard. I don't want to
Right.
be a fool in this.
Cut on fresh,
So I
nice
need to
one.
know if you are cheating or not. And if you are cheating, I think, and I'm not, I think there's a, like you said, deal breaker. I think that is
So
all
it's a
for
deal
me.
breaker
Yeah,
for
it
you.
is.
So you end the relationship.
To be human, I will. I think I'll call it off.
Sharp.
Yeah.
That's not a sharp guy. Oh yeah, let's go to you now.
Well, for me, I look at it from three perspectives.
Tell
The
me.
first thing is, like he rightly said, I think sometimes we're so obsessed with this idea of cheating. And that's because many of us think that the love of our life is outside.
Yeah.
You are the love of your life. That's the first thing.
Come on. So
You-
did I tell somebody that you are the lover? Just now I'm lying.
Because you cannot give what you don't have.
Right.
You can't tell a lady that you love her if you don't love,
Love
yourself.
yourself, I
You're
mean,
only using her to fulfill a need.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But you so that's the first thing. So when you have that level of self-actualization, you can understand that, look, part of the permutations on the table is that no matter how saintly your spouse looks, there is still a possibility of them cheating at some point, and you have to be psychologically okay with that. Now, that does not mean you accept it, but you have to accept it as a reality that's on the table, because
Right.
it's an option. The second part of it is cheating. I rightly said, I said cheating is a very complex thing. So you said, is cheating a deal breaker? So the second part is cheating. Is cheating so it's about the complexity of cheating, right? Why did they cheat? What happened? What's the context? What was the relationship like before the cheating happened? And then the last thing is is it a deal breaker for me? Deal breaker as per how? I believe that when you love people, if you truly love a human being, you cannot stop loving them until you die. If it is true love.
True. But
So-
is that
Well,
I mean, is that a
that's-
reason
So,
why I
so
will
my
not
question is,
Okay.
deal breaker as per what? So if it's about love, no. Because if you truly love somebody, even though they hurt you, they can move on with their life, but you will always have that love for them. Now, about the relationship,
Yeah.
there's a lot of context to that.
Tell me.
Are kids involved? What would happen? What stage of a relationship are we? Sometimes it's quite complex. You need to think beyond yourself and your needs, especially when you become a dad or a mom. So that's and it also depends on their response to that. What level of repentance, how now this is No. Does that mean that I condone cheating? No. Does that mean that I pray for a cheating spouse?
You know,
No.
this cheating has
No. Does
levels.
that mean that I think I'll be able to manage one? No. But I'm just thinking as objectively as I can.
Makes sense. I will quickly moving straight to the next story. I don't know what Danny has for us today, but I thank God that it's not anything about Christianity or anything, because there's just a thing with Danny on X giving us issues around Christianity and all of that. But this one is quite interesting, and it says CGPA is not an accurate or reliable measure of knowledge, and that's said by Danny. Can we quickly get this tweet on, please? Okay. Say, unpopular opinion, grades are overrated. I figured this out on time, so I never bothered about being top in my class, even though I was smart enough to be. Never went to ninth class, did group reading, or any extra work to top my CGPA. I just needed to pass enough to make me scale to the next level. CGPA is not an accurate or reliable measure of knowledge. They only measure how much you can pen down on a sheet of paper. So if you figure out a way to sneak in paper and sneak in answers, copy someone else, sleep with, bribe the lecturer, or cram the answers, you did pass regardless. How does that prove you know anything? I really don't know where Danny gets this stories from, but continuation, it says in the real world, you can't cram or sneak in answers. Focus more on how to win in the real world, not at your grades. What do you guys think about the story? Me, I don't have anything to say. Danny has always been a very controversial person, honestly speaking. So let's start with you.
Myself?
Yes.
Okay. I think I agree with him. I agree with him, but delicately so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So delicately so because of as a doctor you have to know your stuff because you're dealing with folks. But I think where he's coming from is there's a huge difference between knowledge and understanding. Knowledge is I can regurgitate information,
Right.
and that's what usually these exams test.
Yeah.
It doesn't test depth. It doesn't test imagination around the knowledge. It doesn't
Right.
test real life application. Now, why I say delicately so is
Okay.
in the field of my academics, which is medicine,
Yeah.
our style of examination is very different.
Okay.
So all of the questions are clinical. So it already ties into application. So you
Yeah.
cannot pass if you do not understand
Stand
the real
it.
life application. Now, in other fields, it's not like that.
Sure.
You
I
see,
agree.
because
I agree.
we need to reorientate our education system to get more
I
towards
agree.
that. So that's why I say I agree with him in terms of that. The other bit of it is what was the purpose of the format of school? School basically was built to raise workers for
Right.
the industry, for
True.
capitalism.
True.
That's the truth. Entrepreneurship is different. You cannot finish as a business management graduate now without no experience about entrepreneurship. I think just because you have a biz admin certificate,
Right.
you're suddenly an
And
entrepreneur.
you know how to
Well,
count
you
money.
will go back to school again on the streets.
Okay, that makes sense. How about
Yeah.
you, Kenzie?
Yeah, it's well for some people, depending on their view and depending on where they the society they
Right.
grew up from, some of them has attained certain
Level.
level in education, right? And they've seen people before them get to this level too without nothing, without getting the basics they
Right.
need, why they went
To
through
school.
through that institute to, they lack to get the need, like what they need to survive the society
Yeah.
along the line. So along the line they become disappointed, they become disappointed in their efforts, in the effort of people that comes before them. So it's not really, it didn't really impact much encouragement to them to further or look at
pursue
the
that.
yeah,
Fair
you
Yeah.
understand this. So I think that part alone brings the discouragement and saying no need, no importance in the CGPA and all that. I think that is what's limiting it, the society and where they come from, the experiences from people before them. So they, at the end of the day, you feel like, oh, after going through this struggles, I
What do I
wouldn't.
have to
What do
show
I have
for
to
it?
show for it? What would I
True.
use this CGPA for?
I feel like that's
Yeah.
something
That's very cogent.
that's something I already have. Like I have a strong issue when it comes to the Nigerian,
Yeah.
educational system.
Yeah.
Because somehow it just feels like every minister that we have is just there to minister whatever we don't know. But
Sure.
there's no impact. We don't see changes in the when it comes to the educational system
Yeah.
now. I mean, there's a whole lot of it's either they are going on strike today, ASU is going on strike, so person is going on strike, and that's because I mean, again, we have ministers that are actually not even doing their job. Let me use the word allegedly before anybody stole me anything.
and yeah.
Before anybody stole me anything.
and
No, but for
yeah.
you want to say something?
Yeah, and they're like bright students like in the early stage of their academic
Yeah.
pursuit, like very, very bright. But
Yeah.
along the line, they get discouraged from this strike today,
I mean,
strike next month,
Yes.
and they
Honestly.
spend more than like 5 years in school.
Yes.
I know
Yeah.
somebody.
So you-
I know somebody that I mean they're supposed to like study something, and I
Yeah.
think the course is supposed to take like 4 years. This person did 6 years.
Like 6
All
years,
thanks to
it's-
ASU and their strike.
Yeah.
Fair.
So it's annoying.
Yeah.
And the interesting part is after you finish going to school and coming out, that's where you now know that okay, it's time. Just like you said,
Yeah.
you start,
To
you
learn
start
something.
learning again,
Yeah.
and it is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is so wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might want to lean a bit towards what Quincy said.
I mean-
very strong point. You see, it begs the question of what kind of people do we celebrate in the society?
Thank God we are going to have the conversation around
What
that
kind of people
Nigeria,
do we?
whatever,
I mean,
because
if
I don't know.
if we have people who don't have, like you said, the basics down, and we want kids, well, they are not people, and children are very perceptive.
Yeah.
Sure.
I see this man uncle that is speaking big English.
Yeah, and
And he doesn't have anything. He's just speaking big English, but he's upping bikes. And I see this man that if I tell him good morning, he doesn't even know how to respond to me.
do you
But
get-
he came in a G-Wagon.
Yes.
Please, people of God, who
make
would
it
you
make
follow?
sense. This one, see, this story you just said now made me.
Yeah.
I think there was a time where we were talking about. I think during the presidential election.
Yeah.
And I remember having a conversation with someone. Okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this on air, but let me just say it so in a very nice way. That you have people that they say they are ruling us.
Yeah.
Imagine undergraduate or people that have not even finished school ruling graduates. No, let's
I mean-
make it make sense. And the interesting part, these people don't know the basics of these things. You say you are the Minister of Agriculture or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
and you don't even know what the future of agriculture is.
Yes,
Very
fair enough.
disappointing.
I mean, that is really appalling,
Ridiculous.
honestly
Yeah, it is.
speaking. So
It
I
is.
feel like there's just a whole lot of things that need to be worked on
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this great country. Let me
Yeah.
not call it podcast. I am not Kemi. We're going on a short break, guys.
Shots fired.
We're going on a short break to come back with the hot gossip. Stay with us.
Wagwami people, it's your girl Endurance Grant. Shout out to Gossip Gala.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy to the O to the M3A and you're watching Gossip Gala. If you're in traffic, you buy what? Gossip Gala. Keep it locked, baby. Ooh.
Guys, Taga G here, and big shout out to Gossip Gala. Keep watching, you know the vibe. Chee.
Hey, people. My name is Anaja Music. And I'm live on Gossip Gala, on official upgrade TV with my homegirls, beautiful, finest, pretty, the best girl on your TV screen. So keep your dial right here, 'cause I'm out, yeah.
Thank you so much for sticking around. It's still hot gossip. I mean, this is Gossip Gala, of course. So yes, on hot gossip, it's time to talk about your Edochie. Again, they don't carry this man matter come my table. You guys should leave me alone, please. People should allow your Edochie to breathe. That man says he's a pastor. You guys are not fearing. You don't want to go to heaven, Abby. All right. So on hot gossip, this one says many pastors today actually have been the have been calling to be a native doctor, and that's said by your Edochie. Honestly speaking, I don't know how true this is, but thank God I have two interesting persons that are actually very intelligent. So probably they will tell us, fit guys. I remember you guys pronouncing fit a whole lot today. So people will tell me exactly what your Edochie, if what your Edochie is saying is actually true or is false. Let's quickly read this. And it says, many pastors today actually have the calling to be native doctors. That's Dibia. That's Unwa Dibia. I don't know. Shango. I'll be gone. Let me call it so everybody kind of understands what I'm saying. Okay, continuation. It says, but they are refusing to answer the call because Oyibo people, that's like the whites, the Westerners now, brainwashed us to believe it is evil. Okay. And Nollywood has also contributed in making native doctor look evil. But not be yourself, they also want at Nollywood. You guys should make it make sense. I beg, make I just continue, Jerry. Make I not talk the one where did my mouth like this. All right, being a native doctor is a divine call from God Almighty. Hallelujah, somebody. Okay, it means you have been choosing to help humanity. What will I not hear with these ears of mine? Okay. A true native doctor fights evil unless he decides to be evil. Same way a pastor can decide to be evil. Go and answer your call. No, there's supposed to be an exclamation mark there and not question mark. You do not do this thing very well. Go and answer your call, question mark. You understand? Don't mind me. I like adding extras. And it says you may never have fulfillment in your life if you don't answer your call. So the call is to be a native doctor, like Unwa Dibia. Let me just put it out there. What do you guys think about the story? I actually think it's a very unique one. I mean, one thing I like about your Edochie is the fact that of all the persons that do things to stay relevant, his own is there's just this sweet thing that comes to his own style of staying relevant. I don't know if you feel me. Again, I think this is a strategy, but let me hear what you guys have to say. Let's start with Toby.
I thought you were going to go with
no, it's a lie. Let's go
General Overseer.
Let's start with you on this.
I thought you were going to Daddy Gio.
It's quite dicey,
it's somehow.
So you're setting me up. Anyway.
Yes.
Yes. So the first thing is, what is a native doctor? So I think there's a difference between people who understand herbs,
right,
and the use of it. Thank God for Western medicine.
Right.
Prior to Western medicine, there was the use of
Should
herbs.
I mention names? Like
Now,
we have the Agbo.
I don't want to do publicity because
Oh,
I
yeah,
have
no
issues
vex.
with that. My pharmacology will not allow me to agree with
Agbo, okay.
because
but
but there was something in that direction, and it worked prior to colonization, prior to the coming of the white man.
Yeah.
Now, did it work efficiently? There's a huge question to that. At the end of the day, now the pharmaceutical industry
Right.
takes substances from nature.
True.
So in a way, some parts of even Western, pharmacology is on the same level as our historic use of herbs.
True.
Now that's one side. Now there's a second side to that, which is exploring the principles of the universe and the spirituality of the universe for diabolical, reasons. Now, so usually when people say native doctor, they combine these two things together. So they're thinking somebody who is diabolical, and you're thinking somebody who is also knowledgeable about natural medicine. But I think that these two things are separate. Right? So that's one side to it.
Right.
The second side to it, I think I explored a bit of that on one of my tracks called Jesus for the Black Man Too. Now, it was a very slow track because I was basically trying to explore an idea. And the idea is, it came from the fact that when I figured out that as you begin to get more intellectual and you engage with religion intellectually, you can already see that there are loopholes that it just doesn't make sense. Why is Jesus man? Why is Jesus a white man?
Right.
Why does he have blue eyes? Even though the Bible says that he was from Israel. Israel is a Middle Eastern country.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the Bible says he went to Egypt. Egypt is an African country. If you know a little bit about history, there was the Nubian part of Egypt. There were black people in Egypt.
Yeah.
So some could even argue that Jesus might be a bit more colored than mainstream portrays him to be.
Right.
So my question was, number one, so I also think another aspect of that is the people who brought in this ministry of Jesus are the same guys who came and took us as slaves.
Right.
So they had the Bible in one hand and they had whips in the other.
True.
So now, because of force, a lot of us took this religion. Now the thing is, a time has come where the next generation, people like us, myself and Quincy and a whole lot of people, we're not at that with that slave mentality. We don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's what our forefathers had, and we have evolved from that.
Yeah.
So we are asking intellectual questions that religion cannot provide. But I believe that religion is very separate from faith.
Explain that.
Now, religion is an organized system. Organized religion has to have two things. I would even say three. It has to have dogma. That continuous devotion to something without necessarily thinking. It has to have control, a sense of control. The last thing is it has to have politics. In every religious basis, there is politics.
Right.
Now, all of these things has nothing supernatural about it. Control is ego. It's not supernatural. Dogma is not supernatural. So is politics. Politics is a human thing. So religion is separate. And that's why you see across every sense of culture, every time you see power, you see a religious arm. So our kings would have a chief priest. If it's a president, they will have a chief because it was a partnership with, and the reason is because you cannot control people until you have their spirits under control.
I agree.
Because all of us we are an extension of God. So our souls yearn for the supernatural, yearns for God.
Yes.
So these men, when they wanted to control the people, they understood that even if we did everything right and we scared them and we said, sit down there, hey, the Kabiesi, what's the Igbo for Kabiesi?
Eze.
The Igwe, the Eze says this. People can still want to play out, but then when you bring in the spiritual man who looks a little bit interesting and says, and they will align because now you don't just have their mind, you have their mind, but you also have their spirit.
Yes.
So control is a huge part of religion. But I'm a person of faith. I believe in Jesus, right? I don't think he brought religion. I don't think that was his idea. I think what he came, we built something around it on the frequency of the understanding that we have.
Right.
So it's like when you give somebody rice and the person doesn't know what rice is, that you're supposed to use spoon to eat rice. The only person only knows swallow. How will he eat the rice?
Of course,
he will use his hands.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're doing. The only idea, the level of functionality that we can have now, because of at this level, is purely religious. So even that faith, we have to force it into religion. But I don't think faith needs religion to thrive.
Right.
So that's the two sides to it. The DBR side. So now when you say there's a divine calling, do I believe there are people who are talented in understanding how herbs work? Absolutely, even beyond the borders of Nigeria. That's how we have medicine. There are people who are stuck in the lab, constantly figuring out what nature has. So are there people with that natural talent? I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to the calling of combining both of them together, I know they'll.
To just guess what to be with there. But honestly speaking, I feel like the angle he was coming from was more from the aspect of, of recent, we've been seeing pastors and their whole prophecy. So there's just a whole lot of distance. And he's coming out to say that, all these pastors and all, that we need more of native doctors because they do their work fast. I think there's something my pastor used to say that, sometimes when we I'm a minister in church, right? And there's so many times where I want to sing because I take worship and I'm like, okay, everybody, let's do this together. Let's wave our hands to Jesus. Let's do this. Let's do that. There's always a bit of sluggishness. So as if you never chop kind of thing. Bro, if you've not eaten, you probably stay in your house. Why are you here? Why are you stressing me? You feel me? So they make it look like, okay, they're actually doing you a favor kind of thing, right? Then I remember my pastor would say that when you come to church, that's when you do that. But now when you go to those native doctors' house, once they say take off your shoes, in short, you do it very fast. I don't know if you feel me. So I think probably that's where he is coming from, because there's also a side of that as well. There's a bit of, I don't know if I should call it that, like there's a fear like that is instilled in people when it's this own native doctor, whatever. But when it comes to pastors, because we don't see them finish now. It was just last week in one of the states, either Abia or so, that they catch one pastor that was with a married woman rather.
Really?
Yeah. So there's so many stories like that. So our pastors don't for our hand. Let's not even go too far. Let's not go. Let's not go too far. But let's come to you, Quincy. What do you think about the story?
my take on it is your Edochie has been I don't know, I don't understand him anymore. To be
Even me, I
honest.
don't understand him anymore.
His opinion these days, I
They
would say
shake.
that is his opinion. He has his way of expressing himself all the time. So if you take it serious, you might be at the wrong side at the end of the day.
And
'Cause
they tell you.
he might just say he was just being funny or
I
he was
mean,
just trying to say something. But what I think he was trying to explain is there are too much pastors now, and we don't know who is who. Do I believe in true pastors? Yes, 100%. Do I believe in God's calling? Yes, 100%. But do I believe in the fake ones? Yes, I believe there are a lot of fake ones.
I mean,
like,
even the Bible
a
made
lot.
mention of that too.
No, so we don't know who is who. So maybe he's just trying to say, okay, you guys should reduce. Let's know who is who.
I mean,
If it's not your calling, just go and be a chief priest or something. So I think to me,
that one too.
so I don't really want to break
That one follow.
the stories. I think that is my
I
own.
hear you.
Well, I'll be like waiting, I beg.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, let's quickly go on the shop break, guys, to come up with the hottest gossip. There's just a lot. You see this Nigeria thing, things get me said with our mouth. My ears are literally itching. Let's quickly go on the shop break to come up with the hottest gossip. Stay with us.
Life is made up of moments, some that lift us, others that break us. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space where we explore the beauty, the heartbreaks, and the incredible strength that every relationship brings into our lives. Friendship, marriages, partnerships, and everything in between.
Yes, say yes.
All the connections that shapes who we are today. Every week, we dive into the stories that define us. Stories of love, loss, heartbreaks, and healing. Real life stories from real people, just like you and I. Heartlines is where emotions meet understanding, and where we learn that we're never truly alone. Join me Mondays through Fridays at 9:30 p.m. for Heartlines, where we'll connect with every heart, one story at a time.
Thank you so much for sticking around. It's on the hottest gossip. Now, I hope you've been enjoying this gossip. I know someone I like gossip too much, so I hope you guys are enjoying it, and I'm giving you the tea as it's coming. All right, on the hottest gossip we have here, my experience with the police in Nigeria was very negative. They would rob us. This is said by Kep. It'll be me Tokamo. Let's watch this video together, guys.
Use them to try and destroy us.
Do you trust the British police?
I do. But remember my experience with the police in Nigeria was very negative. And coming to the UK, my first experience with the police was very positive. The police in Nigeria would rob us. So when people say, "Oh, I had this bad experience with the police because I'm black and they're white," I was like, "Well, I remember the police stole my brother's shoes and his watch."
His shoes?
Yeah, they took his shoes and his watch. It's a very poor country, so people do all sorts of things, and giving people a gun is just a license to intimidate. But that's not the bar we should use for British police. Obviously, it should be much higher. But my experience was so positive. When I was burgled, for example, the police were there, very helpful. They eventually caught the person. This is 2004, so 20 years ago. The police did catch criminals, and now we've given them too much to do, in my view. So the police are the first line of defense for everything, and I think that burden makes it a lot harder for them to actually do the basics, and that's another thing that we need to look at.
Let's talk about some of the social issues that have exploded.
When this video trended on social media, it made me remember the video we watched of Davido when he was also, asked the question, something around, what's the country looking like and all of that. And him saying that, that country, you know, as it is right now, things are not really going where the economy is in shambles. That is what. Not be me talk again. It is the video. But I mean, I want to hear you guys. What you think about the story? There are so many people coming out to say, "Oh, this is how they feel about the country." I want to even ask: do you think, as citizens of Nigeria, we're entitled to say only the good things of our country? Because there's that part. I mean, during the time the video said that, even let me not mention the TV station, but the woman was so in so much pain and so much anger, and so like, no, this thing the video has said it to make investors not to come to Nigeria. In my head, I'm like, I don't understand. He's just basically saying what exactly is going on in the country. What you want him to say? So if you say, oh, the country is doing well, the president is doing his job, you know, long-term solutions, wonderful, interesting, and excellent. And I mean, how would you feel when you see those kind of things? And we've had coming out and I say, I won't share. I mean, from all the old things that we've seen the police people do, you know, she's coming out to say that I want this one on my own part. Can you imagine that they collected my brother's shoes as per they did not have shoe? And they collected his watch as per they did not have watch. I did not say those things. Trust me, I did not say it. But what do you guys think about the story in general? Tell me. Let's start with you, Kenzie.
Well, I think it's coming from experiences, you know, and being a Nigerian youth, we've been exposed to police humiliations and brutality and all that. So, for example, if I travel tomorrow, or if somebody that's been affected by this stuff travels tomorrow to other countries and has stayed there and has seen a better life and see how it is over there, and if he has opportunity to, you know, to be on air too, I don't think the person would want to speak good of where he's coming from, right? Because of the experiences he or she might have gone through, which is obvious. So I think it's coming from a place of experience, and I think that what she's saying is coming from a place of experience. That's her opinion too, and I think a whole lot of us we still have the same opinion to give if to ask us to be 100%. But
do you think as Nigerians, right, as a citizen of this country, do you think we're entitled to say only the good things of Nigeria?
No, I think
if they ask you a question, just say, Nigeria, forward ever, backward never. We are doing well.
I think those that has to defend Nigeria should be our ambassadors in diaspora. If you understand what I mean, I think they are the ones that's basically their duty or their job to, whether good or bad, they should you know, put a good example of
people outside the country.
Not people outside the country. I think we Nigerians, like as
you mean ambassadors as in delegates,
official delegates. I think they're the ones to defend the countries.
Because it's somewhat their duty.
So, but if you're asking a citizen, a normal Nigerian, he will be honest with you. Right. And I wouldn't like cover up when this year don't show a shag already. So I won't come and say, Amen. Oh, we are good and we are living cool and all. So I think like everybody will give their own quota. Everybody will give their own opinion. And to be honest, Nigeria hasn't been in a good position.
Right.
And we shouldn't like sugarcoat it. We have to be honest. Nigeria hasn't been. We shouldn't even sugarcoat it for any day. We have not been in a good position for a lot of years, and it's not a bad thing to be able to say, "Oh, we are going through this, or we are going through that," to create more awareness. And what should the solution look like? It's not like you're criticizing or saying or stopping people from coming to invest in your country. So it's just you're being expressive of what is actually happening. You know. So
yeah, for me, I think. The first bit here is who is context, right? So who's the audience?
Right.
I think that, so who's listening? Are you talking to an outsider? They say you don't wash your dirty linen in public.
Right.
Right? But the problem is, I think we have not explored the role and responsibility of what celebrities are supposed to do for the indigenous culture. So what is the function of when we make somebody an influencer? Why are they celebs? They are celebs because they are supposed to direct culture. That's what it means.
So it's not like I plan to cut you.
Yes.
But when you say you make them influencers, explain that.
Yeah, because no influencer is not an influencer without the people making them an influencer.
But if I've not brought out my craft, you won't like it. Yes. I just don't like that term of make.
Yes, I agree.
I find that wrong, actually.
I agree, but you can you can be the most intelligent, the best person at what you do, and if the people do not accept you, you will not thrive. I know, I understand it. I am very focused on personal development. I understand that there's a lot to bring in. And I think that there's a balanced perspective that you get if truly, there's a perspective you get if you're truly balanced that forces you to admit that all you can bring to the table in the making of your career is only 50%. Now, you bring your 100%, but that 100% is only 50% of the contribution. Because you need an audience to bring in the other 50%. And you have to be grateful for that.
Sure. But using the word make is the problem. I don't know. Probably it's the word.
Let's think of it like this. So if it takes 100% to make a career, right? Like, okay, we are agreeing for a career to be made. Let's take, for instance, who's the biggest celeb right now? Let's say God's Beauty.
Hallelujah, someone.
It takes 100% for her to make a career, for a career to be made as a brand, right? So we agree. And for anything to be made, there are ingredients, right?
Right.
So you're saying that, and we are saying that half of that is 50. Half of that is what everything you're bringing. Your 100% only makes half of that. So is it okay to say you made your career? Why not?
Because it's just
because there's a second half that is missing.
That is missing,
so
which is the audience.
I understand. And the reason why we don't like to admit that is because we don't want to feel like we are owned by people. I get it. Like, you didn't make me. Yes.
I mean,
but there is a balance.
If I brought out my craft,
yes, I agree.
There won't be the likeness of,
yes, but you're only on one side of the argument. If you brought out your craft and they did not accept it, there will still not be you.
Okay.
You see my point?
Hey, you don't win. Don't rotate your head.
So what is the purpose of these people that bring out their craft and we accept? Is that we are saying, look, we like you and we want you to direct culture. That's what we're saying to them. Every influencer is influencing culture. We're dressed like this because we watch people who at some point were stars.
Yes.
You know, and now we are like that. So that's the role. Now, having said that, Davido saying what he said, right? And responding to that as Nigerians is because the bar is low in a way as to what we expect from our celebs. This should be something we should be getting on a daily. People are suffering.
Right.
And if we want to look at what Quincy said earlier, he said this year don't show us shaggy.
I mean,
right? If we want our music and our art to reflect that, right now nobody in Nigeria should be singing love songs. Everybody should just be singing "Set Us Free," like track after track. You hear Sakpa,
Hunger Day.
Like, that's what everybody should be singing,
right?
Or talking about because it matters, right? So that's one. So I don't see anything wrong with what Davido did. Now, the only thing is, if he is not speaking with the same intensity on the home base, then we might have a problem. But if he's speaking with the same level of intensity and he's saying, look, we don't like what's going on, and he's saying that's what Baba Fela was doing now. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. And we've come to the end of the show. It has been an exciting one with you guys. Thank you so much, Toby, Loba. Thank you so much, Quincy. And yes, my besties, I think we've just talked too much today. Kai, I can't wait to have an exciting, episode with you tomorrow. Until then, stay blessed. Okay.